Ugh, okay. Oh my god. Stop, stop, stop. Since I messed up my 360 camera yesterday, I'm still waiting for its replacement to arrive. What should be tomorrow afternoon if I'm lucky. I thought maybe I could use the Insta360 Go for, some transitional footage, but no, this camera does not have enough anti-shake protection to make up for the fact that it sort of bounces around. Like I had it on that little medallion thing right on top of my chest, which is right over my big fat gut. It just bounced. It just bounced around so much that all this footage is useless, and I'm not going to use any more of it. You know what? Let's just get on with the flight video. Since I'm down to my minis, I thought it might be interesting to take my minis out to a place where, I used to fly my Avata. I had a pretty good time controlling these in the park, so a little slightly more risky environment doesn't seem too bad. And I was walking by Walmart, and this section of the parking lot is even more empty than in normal. As long as you don't count a lot of the weirdos running around. There was a lot of random people walking around. Well, that made me nervous as hell, but this seems like a pretty good place to open it up. Got a lot more stuff to pay attention to than the park. Ooh, like that cord. Man, there's one thin little power line. This ridiculous dystopian attraction. The robot harassing us all. I think maybe I'm wrapping my head around Acrobit. I don't want to sabotage it. Same way I've sabotaged my Avata. But, I don't know, it's feeling a little more natural doing the Acro now. I got a tiny bit more of that feeling for it. I still need a lot of room to move around in. Like this big, huge, empty field certainly helps. Ooh, here, have a little drop out there on the goggles. The range on the beta flight Pavo20 Pro, whatever you want to call it. The range on it's pretty good, considering it has tiny, tiny, tiny little antennas. But not good enough to get too far back there. By the time I was getting to the palm trees, I was getting some stuttery video. I couldn't really stop and read the little text at the bottom of the screen. I don't know why they put that text down there. I can't see it and can't pay attention to where I'm going. But the goggles are giving me that little yellow flash to let me know the signal was getting low quickly. And this doesn't have any return to home or anything. This is just a basic FPV quad. The only thing DJI in it is just the video transmission unit, the O3 VTX. In case you don't know what VTX stands for, it's a video transmitter. The rest of it is just a basic, it's a basic quad. No different than the old analog ones when you get down to the control board and stuff. So there's no GPS, no auto leveling. Freaking pigeons everywhere. Wow, this is the deadest I've ever seen Walmart that wasn't a holiday. Oh, jeez. What was I saying? So easily distracted. So this isn't nearly as, what would you say, a long-range competent ride as the Avata was. But man, is it fast. It is quite the little ripper. Like, I am really having to focus just to slow it down enough so that hopefully at some point I can get close enough to land without slamming into myself. Of course I could. It's really lightweight. It's very small. These are just the maneuvers I'm doing trying to shed speed. Because by the time you get it this slow, I mean, you are moving those joysticks microns. Hey, look at that dust blowing up there. A little mini leaf blower. Hey, you know what? All these people walking around are making me nervous. I think I'm going to move to another location. A little ways down the road. See how busy it is down there. Well, no transition footage, so here we are. Strangely enough, the Butte College building had like nobody there. Is it? I guess it's spring break. But the only people I saw, I kid you not, were a couple of Asian students. I know there's a stereotype in there somewhere. It's like, you guys don't have to go to school right now. I swear.
Yeah, I need goggles.
I swear to God. It's, more than a couple. All right. Enough of that. Change subjects. Like I've been here in the middle of winter. I've never seen it this empty. I think the only people working there is the cleaning staff. So that's cool. I mean, I actually got the fly out front of here. It has a lot of neat stuff going on. Although it's an awful lot of scraggly little trees too. This time you can see them running around on the Rotor Riot Vision40 using the Walk Snail VTX. The TX is the transmitter, the RX is the receiver. In case you care. Batteries are dead already. I'm going to try to nurse this just a little bit further. I cannot believe this battery is running out of power this quickly. They're little 1S batteries. I didn't expect a ton out of them. But 90 seconds, please. Can it at least last 90 seconds? It was getting the low battery warnings at 10 seconds in the air. But then again, the Vision is a pretty good one. It's got a lot of power behind it. So I think really between the Walk Snail video transmitter, which is a pretty good picture, and I got the transmitting power up high enough to go some distance, and the motors that are pretty powerful, I think it really needed to be a 2S whoop. A 1S whoop was just pushing its luck. I should have gotten the 2S version. Nick Burns said to get the 2S version. I should have listened to Nick. I think with 2S you can expect at least 3 or 4 minutes of battery life. So it's more than double. It's got I don't know, it's got more of a body, I guess, to draw upon. Ooh, patriotism. Where with a 1S battery, because I need to keep it over 3.2 volts so the VTX doesn't brown out. Now VTX is pulling a lot of juice. It needs to have main power all the time. I can't drain the 1S batteries down that far. If I was running this off of analog, I could go hit 3 volts for sure. But this, at 3.2 volts, there's no picture, which is, a problem when you're blindfolded and staring entirely by a camera. This thing doesn't move too insanely fast, but is it maneuverable? Bardwell said it was one of his favorite whoops. I don't think he was blowing smoke up our asses when he said that. Like, it is a nice handling little one. A little on the expensive side. Unfortunately, it's also really durable, so I don't want to test that by having it get hit by a train or something. I'm sure if I accidentally flew it around my house and dipped it in the toilet, it would definitely be dead. But for, regular sane flying, it does really well. Except for the battery issue. Now, if you have any interest in the Vision40, you want a nice, dependable whoop, good calm flyer, can handle some outdoor stuff, get the 2S version. Don't get the 1S. This was definitely my mistake. Way past the point I could return it. Even these We Bleed FPV batteries, which have had the best life of any 1S batteries I've run across, they can't keep these things in the air for more than 90 seconds. I wonder if that lady's watching me fly. I think she totally is. That was risking a brownout. Every time I give it too much of a push, that battery sags real quick. I can get some life out of it, though. Ooh, oh, crud. Alright, we're in the bush. So I'll fix that. That lady's gone. Oh, she missed the best part of the flight. The crash. I mean, I got such good control over this, I can just about dependably land it on that table. Even with its bounciness. This is more the kind of speed it can do, at least when the battery's got some juice left in it. Ooh, air conditioning. And you know, for a ducted whoop, it's pretty good on a dive. It's got some good zoom for, you know, what it is. Definitely not anywhere near the kind of power the Pavo has, but Pavo's drawn 3S. It's 3 times the battery power. That's a lot of juice. You gotta watch out where we're going. Them scraggly trees, especially in the shadows, are really hard to see. God bless the evergreens. I'm not sure if they don't mind me flying my little toy out here. I think generally speaking, people don't mind whoops, since they are very toy-like. So tiny. Alright, this battery is definitely not doing well. Yeah, let me keep in the air for a little bit more. Let's try to slow it down and bring it in. Yeah. That was a good landing. Dumb luck, I assure you. Well, let's see how far this one lasts. I got a whole pile of these little batteries. That's the nice thing about 1S is that you usually wind up having like a handful of them. I have 4 3S batteries for my Pavo. I have like 8 of these little 1S batteries. That was just 2 purchases. 2 packs of 4. You purchase 1S batteries a couple of times, you wind up having just this pile to draw upon. Which is what kind of makes them so cool. Also, 1S batteries, really hard to catch fire with those. They never usually have too much juice inside of them. Even if they're shorted, I think they only just get really hot and smoke. I don't think they have the capacity to actually catch fire like a 6S for sure. I think a 3S still has that potential. 2S maybe, but these little 1S batteries, they're very safe. They also very much don't contain a lot of juice, which kind of makes them safe and slightly useless if you want HD. Oh, in case you heard that DJI is getting into 1S, no, not really. That 04 air unit, that's 2S. It's exactly like the Walk Snail as far as its power draw, although it does have a much better picture. I think because they have a better camera. This Walk Snail camera, like the VTX is a really good transmitter. The camera, though, I don't know if it's full HD. I mean, it's good. It's not horrible. But, you know, it doesn't look as good as even like the, the Insta360 view you can see right there. That has a better camera, I think. This poor little camera's kind of muddy. Washed out a bit. Probably could fix that with some video filters, but I don't really care, and I don't think anybody that doesn't work in video really cares either. I mean, is anybody really that obsessed with the color of the video? Have you ever seen a video that was slightly washed out and went, oh my god, I'm changing the channel now, I don't care about anything that happens here? It looks a little more professional if the colors are good. Mind you, I did grow up on old analog television, so any picture that doesn't have snow in it's good in my impression, or good in my opinion. Got a little bit of shake. I might have to go check the props to make sure that it's not scraped up. Ooh. Well, that's about as close to a building dive as I think I'm going to get here. Maybe if I had a couple more stories, I could give it a shot. That is a popular thing in gorilla whoops, is to try to take a whoop and dive it down a building. A comically small whoop. It's like a bug doing a building dive. Oh, crud. It's kind of close. You know what? I think we've had pressed our luck enough here. Let's move on to the next spot. Alright, well, we're still in the Butte College area, but on a completely opposite side of this little campus. And I thought I'd give the Neo a shot here. Unlike the other two minis, this is like a completely different form of flying. For starters, it is really slow. There's no way around it. It is very slow. If I could put this thing in full manual, I could probably get, a bit better performance out of it. I think you can actually get it up to like 35 miles an hour if you really gun it. Get a little tailwind going on. But I can't get this in full manual right now. Even though it'd probably be pretty decent actually to train acro on. Well, the problem is it doesn't bounce as well as the other two. But because the little joystick's broken on my headset and I have to use the motion controller to operate all the menus, but you can't tell it to use full manual from the motion controller unless the FPV controller's hooked up. And if the FPV controller's hooked up, then it can't use the motion controller. Ooh, that is pretty. So I can't get access to it even if I wanted to. I'm not entirely too sure I wanted to, because the last time I tried putting this thing in full manual, I kind of smashed in the gimbal a bit. I was lucky I was able to pop it back out, and it's working fine now. So apparently it's even pretty resilient when you smash the gimbal in. I don't want to test my luck doing that again, though. The Neo has a great place in that it is a good exploration. It can nail small gaps, has vast distance, it's got return to home. Ooh, GPS. It is harder to control. It is really slow. It's also got that problem with the ground sensor where if you get too close to the ground, it slows everything down by half. So I can't even skim the surfaces of roofs and asphalt and stuff with it. That is a pretty good picture for a whoop. I wouldn't count the Pavo as a whoop. It is roughly whoop size, but really it's just a very compact, how do you say, a compact full size? It's like saying it's a giant midget. It is a really powerful, small quad. Definitely not for indoor use. The Vision40 and the Neo are perfectly fine. Well, actually, the Neo isn't perfectly fine for indoor use, only because its sensors can't handle low light. So again, the Neo is kind of limited. Yeah. Think of it more to think about it. The only thing it really excels at is really slow, long-range exploration. It is pretty good at that. In fact, it's flat out amazing at that. Gets excellent range. I would say, at least half the range of the Avata. The Avata has massive range. I think these 04 light video transmitters, like the one the Neo has inside of it, supposedly they have about half the range of the Avata. Or was it 2/3 the range? It's pretty good for such a small quad. That was a questionable gap to go for. Because again, it doesn't turn very well. But it tends to recover from a bump without too much trouble, and it never goes fast enough to really ping off of anything. I mean, this is like the only DJI drone quad ever made where you can run it at full speed into a wall, and there's a chance it might actually still stay in the air. It can just recover because it doesn't go that fast, and it's pretty resilient. I mean, look at how long I've been flying this thing. That's easily twice the amount of time I get out of a 3S battery on the Pavo. Given I'm not getting that far with this power, but I can maintain it. I can keep it up in the air for quite a while. I think the goggles are saying I hadn't even used half the amount of power in it throughout all of this flight. The Pavo would definitely be drained after going around this far. And because it moves slow, I can get around stuff like this. I would not try any gaps this size with the Pavo just because it moves too fast. And I have not quite that level of skill yet, or possibly ever. I mean, look at that. So there's some advantages to it being slow. It's easier to control. I think it's great for exploring treetops, checking out roofs, or just screwing around on an empty college campus. All right, that's enough flying for today. I'm gonna head back home, see how my Avata 2 replacement is going. No, but this time I'm spending with the minis has actually been kind of cool. I really do need to spend more time practicing acro. Gotta practice my acro.